Okay, we're live with our brand new course, our first big course for March, which is really exciting. Sarah and I are both excited about it, as you can see. And this one is on a topic that is going to help everyone in business, no matter what business you're in, because it's all about sales funnels. But it's not just your typical sales funnel. We call it offer funnels because you're going to fill your sales funnel with different offers so that you present the right offer to the right people at the right time. So you're able to maximize your sales in a very non-sleazy way. So be very comfortable with it. This isn't about, those types of funnels where you get a lead magnet, some freebie, and on the freebie page, there's an offer to get this. Okay, that's not bad. But then they want to sell you a subscription thing into this other thing, and then an upsell into another thing. And if you might take that upsell and get another upsell and another upsell. And maybe on the second upsell, you get a downsell. And you don't get that, and you start to go up to the browser and you get another upsell or downsell. And by the time you're done, you're like, what happened? Where am I? You might even end up buying a whole bunch of stuff. And then you get to the cart and there's yet another thing, right? Just add on this one more thing. So we're not talking about that, though some of those elements will be in there. And Sarah, you were talking about a funnel you just went through that was a little bit different before we got on this.
I have had the most horrendous afternoon. I thought I wouldn't make it back in time for our call because I've been to IKEA. And as you go towards the checkout, you can't just all queue up in a line. They squeeze you through a narrow column, and either side of you, there is either mountains of Swedish biscuits that you have never seen or heard of until that moment, or cuddly toys. Look, I come back with a freaking cuddly cat. This was like one of their stereotypical order bumps. The cat, it just called me, and now I've got a cat. And, my daughter's got a puppy. And I went in to buy a rug, people. This is what a bad funnel does. It sells you a cat when you went for a rug.
And you didn't know that you needed that cat. You really did need it.
I didn't. But there it was, looking so cute. And I couldn't just leave it there for the night by itself. No, I had to buy it and take it home. And as you go through the checkout, do you know what they do to you? I don't know if they do the same in the US IKEAs.
Probably.
Meatballs.
Yep.
So you've queued up for 20, 30 minutes with furry, cuddly animals thrown at you and all sorts of biscuits. And then as you get through, you're pushing your thing through, meatballs. They want more money off of you. It's like, I've just stole through your store and I've just queued up for half an hour. I've bought an extra cat that I didn't want. All right, then I'll have the meatballs as well. Yes. So
right.
But
how did you feel when you left? Did you feel good about that funnel, or were you really irritated?
I was irritated up until the Swedish meatballs, and then I got my dopamine hit, and I was all happy again.
All right, so there's a key.
So they've got me sussed. They know exactly how to make me leave happy.
All right, so good and bad for that one. Well, actually, there's a good point for that one. I'm going to get to it, which is the meatballs. This is all about the meatballs. This is about presenting your customer with the right offer at the right time, because by the time you've gone through the store and you got your rug, but then you saw the sofa and then there was the whole living room set. So that looked great. And you thought, oh yeah, it's time. And then you needed a cat, of course, right at the end to decorate the new rug because it was going to look lonely. But then you're starving, right? So you get to them, you need those meatballs. Yeah. So that's one type of offer funnel. We're going to talk about something different. And for that, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to talk about our new course, which is called Supercharged Sales Funnels. And actually, you'll see the sales page looks a little bit different because we just revamped it, our Blaze package sales page. So you'll see there's a little blurb at the top. This is teaching your clients how to maximize their profits, helping them fill their sales funnel with multiple offers so they'll present the right offer to the right prospect at the right time. And you get more revenue and happier customers. And you get happier customers because you are giving them what they need. And let me just scroll
in the right place.
Right. So, you know what? Let's go over to the course. Oh, though there's some good statistics on here. So 79% of marketing leads are never converted to sales. This is scary.
It is. For 100 people you've got on your list, 79 of them are never going to be customers. That's horrible.
And why is that, do you think?
Well,
not getting what they want.
Not getting what they want. They think they want something, and you're serving them up something different.
And the other thing in here, 56% of companies, only 56% have a system or tool set in place to qualify leads. And that it's 5 times more expensive to acquire a new customer than keep an existing one. So all these sorts of things a funnel will help you with. And let me open up some of the materials, because these are the materials that you get with the course. I'm going to start by opening up the graphics. These are the graphics that go into the slides in the course book. So they're really like a super high level that I'm going to use just a few of them to walk through. So one of the things you have to think about when you're building your funnel is the buyer's journey. So what stages they go through when they're buying anything at any point in your funnel. You go through awareness, interest, evaluation, engagement, and commitment. And the different offers in your funnel address some of these more than others. So things like a lead magnet is more around awareness and interest. When you start doing some bigger ticket ones, they're evaluating like a low ticket offer. Engagement, you're doing with emails and talking to people. Commitment purchases, anytime they make a purchase, it's a small commitment, a micro commitment that builds. So you need to think about that. And then the actual success map for the course, what you're going to go through, what you're going to take your students through, is first you have to actually identify what your core offer is going to be. So your funnel is all built around one core offer. Not your highest, most expensive one. That's your upsell. Not your cheapest one. It's your main one that you offer. So, for example, at Content Sparks, our core offers are our Blaze packages. So we have multiple ones, but it's basically our Blaze packages. And then our upsells are the curriculum bundles, where you can get multiple ones already set up. But we also have less expensive things, and we have lead magnets. So for instance, we have a free challenge. It's actually a new version coming out in less than 2 weeks now, I believe it is, which will be an even simpler lead magnet, because you don't want to make your freebie, your lead magnet, too big. So you want something that people can get through very quickly but get a win from. So we have that and free products. So we have a variety of different things, and it's all about how you slot them together. It's going to be a little bit different for everyone. So you want to identify the core one, know who your audience is for your funnel. And for this course, have people focus just on one audience. I know it's very tempting to go off and say, well, I want to do a new audience, or I have 2 audiences, so I need 2 funnels and 3 funnels, and just stick with one. Keep it simple. And you don't have to put all of it in. Then you decide which
offer. That's part of the reason why people have 79% of leads not converting, because they've got the wrong people, because they didn't define the audience that they're getting into their funnel. And that's, I can't get over that statistic. It's just huge.
I know, it's scary stuff. And also just doing the upsells. Well, let me get to that in a second. So you want to decide which offers to include, and I can give you a list of those. I can go through that slide too in a minute. But there are a variety of different ones you want to put in. You need to map it out. This is really, really important because you're going to automate it, but you need to have a clear map so that you can see, where do I need a landing page? Where do I need emails, follow-ups, and all those different things. You can start with a very simple one. And in this course, you have people start with a very simple one and then build on from there until you get comfortable with the automation. If you jump into a very complicated funnel, unless you already know what you're doing and you've done the simple ones, it can get out of hand and things can go wrong quickly because you don't necessarily know when to trigger which automation. So keep it simple to start with. Then you need to actually develop a plan to convert leads to customers. So there's different content you need in that funnel once you've mapped it out, and actually getting leads in. So there's converting them once they're in the funnel, things like emails and stuff, and copy, sales copy, and then there's actually getting people into it. So that's the course roadmap. There's various things that you'll be answering. You figure out the core product. So they're going to have to identify their core offer. You're going to have to look at the target audience. We always go through that. That's really important for your funnel. One audience, some benefits, and some things you can do to do some research. And now here are the different offers to talk about in the course, the main ones that you want to talk about putting into a funnel. So you have that freebie, which isn't in this list, but there's always a freebie to get people in. Then there's a low ticket offer. You can have a subscription offer. Maybe you don't have it right now, but it's something to think about. A one-time offer is something that you might not always have in the funnel, but it's really, really powerful, anything with scarcity. Order bumps are very simple ways to increase any kind of revenue. And an order bump is something that's right at checkout. So it's the Amazon, do you need batteries with this? It's the, are you hungry after all your shopping? Here's some meatballs. So it's usually added to your cart as you're checking out. It's that little extra tick box. Upsells are, okay, are you ready for my VIP one-on-one coaching program or VIP weekend retreat? The bigger upsells, or the full living room suite, or the full curriculum bundle done for you, that kind of thing. And a downsell is things like, okay, you don't want the full living room suite, but we have this chair. No, it's not the cat. We have this armchair that is perfect and it's on sale right now that is really going to make a difference, or the rug. So there are various things in there that you can do, and you're going to have people think about that and identify stuff that they already have also that can work for this, because wherever you have things, wherever your students have stuff already, they can fit it in. And most people do have things they can work with. They don't have to create something brand new. You can bundle things together for an upsell. You can take a part out of something for a low ticket offer or a downsell. So there's lots of stuff you can do. There's some tips on how to actually pick something. And I think most of these are going to be obvious to you. You're already in business. You already coach people or teach people or do this yourself. Things that are relevant to your market, relevant to your lead magnet, solves a problem, is usable and valuable, supports the core offer. So all your different offers support your core offer, builds relationship, generates sales, revenue. There's some stuff on lead magnet ideas. So the lead magnet that gets people into your funnel, the most important thing you need to think about with that, we actually have a whole course on list building lead magnets, but the most important thing you want to think about is that it should be small enough that people can consume it quickly. They're not ready for a whole big program for you. They're not ready for the masterclass 10-day free and make it all free stuff. They don't know you. So it has to be small, and it has to have a very specific value to it or outcome. That's why things like challenges work so well, like a 5-day challenge, things like cheat sheets, short email courses, templates, all these things, replays, step-by-step guides, but simple things that are still useful, that aren't just, sometimes you get a lead magnet that's just this fill in the blanks sheet that has no explanation. That's of no value to me. And then I have to go watch your 5-day video course in order to understand it. No, thank you. let me see it, let me get some value from it, and then it's actually useful and I might want to watch more and go to the next thing. So these were some ideas, different tips about it. What else do I kind of go through? There's some ideas for subscription models. Sorry, I'm just skimming through some of the slides of graphics from the course, ideas for things you can do for subscription. But there's also an explanation of the difference between an order bump and an upsell. So, like, Sarah, do you want to explain the difference here? And I'll just leave the slide up for you.
With an order bump, this is where my kitty comes into play. I didn't go out to buy a kitten today. I went out for a rug. And as I was passing, I picked it up. An order bump is an impulse purchase. It's a, oh, that's nice, I'll get that. Now, the area that you have that contains the order bump is possibly as many as 3 sentences. So you don't have a big sales page opportunity to go deep into what something is. You've got 3 sentences to say what this is, why they want it. And for me, how I do my order bumps is I have planners there. My order bumps are planners. They're something that's really useful to somebody if they have it, but if they don't, it's not the end of the world. Yeah? Right. So it's a nice to have, rather than a you must have it to make the course work. And I don't like that. I think it's the worst kind of bait and switch ever that you can imagine, that you go to buy something, you spend, I don't know, $27 on a spreadsheet, and then somebody says, in order to make that spreadsheet work, you need to have this and this, and it's an order bump. And I'm like, oh, it's one of those funnels. And kind of, even though it may not be, that's how it comes across. And I'm no longer excited for what I've gone to purchase. So the order bump is usually priced between $7 and $17, depending on your audience. Now, if you're going high end, your order bump might be $4.97. So if you're going and your core offer is usually between $27 and $49, then your order bump is slightly less than that. So if your core offer is $4.97, then your order bump may be $2.50. So you price it in proportion. So the order bump, you don't get a lot of space to sell it. If you can't condense it into 3 sentences, it's probably not an order bump. Okay?
I'm thinking about that, and then thinking about our order bumps, which are add-ons. It's another word for an add-on, but we have a little more copy than that.
And the upsell is an expansion on the core offer, and it comes after you've paid for your core offer and your order bump. Okay, so you don't get to decide whether you want the upsell until you've paid your money for the previous things. And this should be, it can even be slightly different. So for mine, my product, my core offer is blogging templates, of which I've got 45 different ones. And they go through each type of blog post in a real concise, precise depth. So you can consume it quickly and recreate that post rapidly. My order bump is a planner to plan out your blog post funnel, so you know what content you need, what headline, whether you need to have a content upgrade, and so on. Now, my upsell is a program on guest blogging. So if somebody comes into my funnel and they've not got a blog, they're not going to buy the templates, they're not going to buy the planner, and they're going to sit and look at the upsell and go, freaking heck, what's that? What's guest blogging? So mine is very niche, very targeted, very specific to the audience. Now, you don't need to have guest blogging training to use the templates. Mm-hmm. You don't need to have the upsell to use the order bump. It's if you want more visibility and you want to do it in a way that you control, then guest blogging is probably, it's going to be your absolute dream. Mm-hmm. And That's what my upsell is. And as you can see, it's the theme of blogging, like the core offer, like the order bump, but it's not something that is essential for somebody who buys the other two things to have. It's very much nicer to have. It's a fantastic program, but we're not talking about that. Make sure what you offer is related to your order bump, related to your core offer. Because if I had done this, I've got the cat under my arm now, I can't put it down. And I do my templates, I do my order bump of my planner that helps them map out a funnel, and then my upsell is something like dealing with difficult people, like we did last month. Complete disconnect. They're on blog, difficult people. What? What's that? And then I'm in a position of my order, my sales funnel, is not converting because I've got something that I've just tacked on the end of it in an attempt to make a sales funnel. And what I've done is damaged my reputation, not understood my customer, and limited my capacity to earn money.
Yep. And and this isn't necessarily linear too. You know, you talked about your core offer, order bump, upsell. Sometimes people do come in straight at the upsell. So it's not something that you would only ever show somebody. You can still have it on your site. Like we'll have a course, then we have an order bump, or we call them suggested add-ons of module quizzes and sales page copy. Not essential for the course, but a nice extra, and it's cheaper. So at launch, like now, the main course would be $97, but then you see a page where you can add on the upgrade pack, which on sale is $27. So, you know, from normally it's $297 and $47, but at the launch it's $97 and $27. But those are things that are not essential, but they're nice to have, and a lot of people get them, a fair number. And that I didn't used to do, and it did make a big difference. People thanked me for it. So I was feeling bad about adding something more to my funnel and suggesting people buy something else. But the response was, oh yeah, thanks for doing that. And maybe I put a couple other things on sale as well that are related. And people say, oh yeah, this is really helpful. I'm glad you did that because I also want that. So, oh, okay, I'm not being pushy. This was a good thing. But I don't then go to an upsell of a whole big curriculum because people aren't ready for that. So I need to send out other emails and maybe I think we suggested on a thank you page, the curriculum. And people still might not be ready for it, so I have to suggest it later. On the other hand, sometimes we get somebody coming in who already knows our stuff and they need a full curriculum. And they will go straight to that category in the product bundles and look through and want to get that. And if it's not exactly what they want, they'll contact us directly, and we can say, oh, can I make up my own? And we figure something out for them. But that's, so like I'm saying, it's not necessarily linear. Not everyone comes in through your freebie either. Not everyone wants the low ticket. So there are lots of different ways to cut this.
So the thing with yours, Sharon, is it's a nice, gentle one. It's not a ticking timers or the sense of impending doom, the dark colours, the high pitch video where somebody's 100 mile an hour talking, and you've got to get in quick because you're going to miss out. It's going to ruin your life, and you're feeling like, do I get it? I don't even know what I'm buying. Buy. And yours isn't like that. People get to read through the detail and I want that. And having the sales page copy and having the module quizzes is simply brilliant, because I like taking out, as I've mentioned on these calls numerous times, I love taking out bits of the module quizzes and using them to attract people into my courses and my programs. I'm talking about what's available and asking them questions. Do you have this? Do you have that? And getting the market research and building the buzz for it. So I know you're meant to use them as module quizzes, but I use them in so many other ways. And that's the great thing about the material.
Yep. And yeah, I'm all about not being pushy on the sales, but also telling people about it, because I've had enough feedback over the years where people missed something and they said, well, why didn't you tell me more? And why don't you add this to it? And can you add that to it? So I realized that people wanted that. It wasn't being pushy to do those additions.
Yeah, it's not pushy to give people what they want. But if you don't have the right people in your audience, if you're going after people who are podcasting because you think they might have a blog as well, you're going to land up with that 79% of people not buying from you. And you actually want to go directly for the bloggers or directly for the podcasters. Exactly. Oh, I've just thought I can adapt my templates for podcasters. This is brilliant. I've got another funnel just sprung in my head.
One funnel for this course. So right, we're going to just
go to the side.
Yes, you're going to focus on one funnel for this course with one audience. And in the course itself, you're going to have people focus on a simple one to start with, where they identify different types of offers, but they focus on just bringing people in, having a lead magnet with a follow-up email series, a one-time offer, and a core offer. And then you look at some of the automation stuff so they can build something more complicated and start planning it out with just a few others. So having inbound traffic, we'll talk about a little later in the course, filling the funnel. First, they have to map it out. So they have a lead magnet with a follow-up email series. You can put in a one-time offer or not put in a one-time offer. So this is something that you can also customize based on your audience and how much you think they can handle. This is in PowerPoint, so you can edit it. And then there's examples of automations and where you have to have yes, no conditions. So when you get to the section on automation, you're going to want to make sure that you recommend the email platform, the autoresponder platform that you are familiar with. So we use ActiveCampaign. And if I were teaching this course, I'd talk about ActiveCampaign because I already know how to trigger things and do tags and automations and goals so I can show people when they have questions. So it's really important. And of course, use your affiliate link. So that you'll do that. There's an example in here of one thing that a coach might do as a lead magnet and low ticket subscription core upsell. And then there's some examples of the types of automation. So there is a section on automation and the types of automations you would have to set up for that kind of funnel, where you'd have a blog post with a freebie in it, and then an email series where you nurture for a bit, so you don't necessarily send them right to a low ticket offer. And then you send them to the low ticket offer, and on there, they just go through and buy it and have a checkout page. And then post-purchase, they might have a pop-up, which I just saw we need to fix that. I love when I go through these things and I find a little typo or formatting issue. I'm like, oh, whoops. Don't worry, that'll be fixed right away for when you download this. But then you might have that. So you'd map out the automations and where you want follow-up series versus having an upsell on a landing page. So they buy the subscription, checkout page. You could have after each offer is accepted, do you have a higher value one that then goes to the core offer? So you have to map out all your automations, and that kind of map helps a lot. So you do the simplified one and then do the others. So I will open up, there's another thing in with the action guide. But let me go through the rest of these quickly first. So after they've mapped out a simple funnel and potentially something a little more complicated, they need to look at the content that will move people through that funnel, what content they need to create. So an opt-in page, a first email, the second email, the landing page, the pop-up, these are all different elements that have to be created, the content for the funnel and the flow of it. So that's going to be important to go through. And there are actually tools that you could introduce people to that'll help map these things out, like, and they're mentioned in the course book, like funnelytics.
That's what I use. I love funnelytics.
Right. Yeah, I know you've mentioned that. So there's all the different elements that you need to create. There's some tips on copy that you'd use, the sales copy or other copy in all the different elements. There's tips on the emails that you'd send, a problem email, solution email, demo, last chance, thank you emails for an offer, and all the different tips. There's tips on calls to action. So there's actually a worksheet, which I can open up too, where you plan out your call to action for each part of the funnel, each element. Some examples for that, tips for that. And then the lead nurturing content and content for actually getting people into your funnel. So there's blogs and podcasts, there's different options to help convert people. And what else did we do? I think that was the end. There's some last stuff in the conclusion that talks about other things and what you learned. So let me close that because we're not going to go through every little detail. You have to get the course for that. But I promised I would open up something else, which is, okay, so in the action guide, they plan some of this stuff, but then there's also a planner. This is I was talking about a call to action planner. So this goes with one of the activities in the action guide where they plan out for each piece of content what the action is that you want people to take. So this is important for when you're both setting up the automations in your funnel, but also the copy. So you have something like the opt-in page. What's the action you want them to take? What's the benefit to the person taking that action? That's essential for the copy. And what words you'll use and what you'll have on the call to action button. So you want to do this for each piece of content. And this is so helpful in seeing the flow of the actions that people take throughout that funnel, all right, for each piece of content.
I was just thinking this is a really valuable tool to give people in your program. I'm also thinking, can I whip that out and add that as an offer for my blogging people later down the line? Because they need to write call to actions. So I could have a call to action mini course and sell them this. And that's it. That's my third funnel thing. I'm only allowed to focus on
I can't show you anything else if I keep doing
that. You're not going to be allowed to. Kevin's going to just ban me, isn't he? He's like, you got too much.
We also put together some sample templates that you can use. You can convert to PDF and give to people. I think we may have even put this already into the action guide.
Sharon, you've gone really quiet.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's a lot of noise outside here, so I'm going to have to speak up or let you talk.
I can't hear the noise. I just couldn't hear you.
I'll speak up. Sorry. I need a cup of coffee. I need to energize. So
you need some meatballs.
I need some meatballs. That's it. So we put together another PowerPoint that you can edit if you want to show people some other examples. And I do suggest that you play around with this or other tools like Funnelytics to show people some different options that you know will work for your audience. But we did put them together. So there's the really simple one. There's a next one that also has kind of a linear flow to it. Though not all, because the downsell wouldn't actually happen. You can play with the arrows. These are all, I believe, no, this is smart art, but you can ungroup smart art if you want to move stuff around. You would just highlight the whole thing and then go into, I think it's in arrange, and then you can ungroup. I don't want to do this because I'm going to mess it up, but you'd ungroup and then you'd have each box so you can play with it more. Little side trick for you for smart art.
I was just thinking this is a really good thing if you print several of them off and have people come onto a session with you and complete them with you and then present them to the group on your call as a sort of accountability, but also to test their understanding that they've got the right things in the right place. And when you've got a group of people doing that, they get feedback from other people in the group, and it sparks ideas. And I mean, you can see how many ideas I've had just talking to Sharon here and yous on this. So if I can do that with a small group of people, I'm adding something really valuable and enabling them to get really good value from this.
And I'm going to just show you, is it funalytics.com?
It might be .io. If you just type in Funalytics, it'll
I should have
find the one.
You're right, it did. Funalytics.io. It went from .com. So here's a free tool you can use, get started for free, that you can also share with your students for mapping out their funnels versus trying to use PowerPoint. Though a lot of people just like drawing it, draw it on a napkin, put it on some Post-its and move things around. So that's fun too. Sarah, you like using this? I have yet to try it.
I do, and it really is simple to grasp. It's not a complicated piece of software. I think the hardest part is deleting something when you've put the wrong thing in place, but I tend to just shut the thing down and start again.
That is, or you can outsource it to someone else. There's always that. Is there anything else you want to see in the main thing? There's a list of all the materials on the page, and I've gone through some of the concepts already. So you've seen some of the student materials are pretty typical of our courses with the course book and action guide and those others. You'll have your slides. I was just going through the graphics of the slides when I was explaining things before, but those are in there.
Is this the usual bonus, Sharon? Is it the challenge that comes with this?
Yep. So what we've done is we take this opt-in report and we convert that into a challenge that you can only get during the launch when you get this package. So I'm going to open that up and let's see if it's in here. Let me make sure it's the right one. Yes. So this is a 5-day challenge. It's ready for you to run on the 5 types of offers you need in your sales funnel. So we took that opt-in report and we converted it into a challenge that you can run. And it has daily emails that you could also use for live stream scripts, or you'd send the email and you link to wherever you're going to be talking, whether it's a Zoom or a live or something like that, or even recorded videos. Or you can set it up in a course platform like we're doing with our 5-day challenge on getting your course online, where we set it up in a course platform and we send daily emails and we record videos. So you can do it that way. And there's one on each of the types of offers. So the idea here is you give them some basics that'll start them off with their funnel, but then you upsell. You sell your core offer, which is a course. It's not an upsell. You're converting people at the end with a call to action. So there's some overview, and you have all the content you need there set up as emails. And there's instructions for you in there for ways that you can run it. And then there's the daily emails. And since you need content, your people need content, there are next steps after each one of the emails. And then there are some short daily worksheets that you could put into, if you're delivering it in a course platform like we're doing with our 5-day challenge, you can put them in there as downloads. I think we put ours all into one guide, but here you could drip it over 5 days and actually release the content each day. And then there's an actual worksheet. It's nice and simple. You don't want to make this difficult with a challenge. Right?
And
so that
is
the
really good to get people thinking from what you're teaching them in your live stream or your video, and then getting them to take notes and take action by writing something down and planning with you. When you can do that, it becomes easier for them to fall into the teacher-student role, and they can visualize working with you. And for some people, that will be they don't like you and your style. That's great. That's one less refund you have to deal with. And you will have lots of other people who love you and love your style and become super fans and want to buy everything that you do. So it is a really powerful way of marketing your business. So it's really good that we've got that as a bonus. I'm really quite excited. I want to teach this and run my blogging things, all three of them simultaneously.
Yeah, it's kind of like a one-time offer in some ways, because, well, it's a limited time bonus, but it has the same concept as a one-time offer because this isn't available again ever. It's just a bonus during the launch. And actually, it'll be set up as a paid product later, where people who want that bonus challenge can only buy it, which we have had people ask for. So, it's got value because people come back and say, oh, I missed that bonus. Can I buy it now? And they're perfectly happy to buy it. So we're going to be setting some of those up as well so that you can get it. But for now, it's free.
Better than anyone, Sharon, how much work goes into a 5-day challenge. You're going to hear about that some more next week or the week after, but a tremendous amount of work and effort goes into it. So to have that ready, done for us, all we've got to kind of do is show up and present. And it takes so much pressure off of your shoulders, knowing that you can present this and it's almost a mini launch for your course.
Yep, exactly. And then you're much more comfortable afterwards about selling, and you have higher conversions because you've just helped people and they're ready to go that next step. Well, some of them are, some of them aren't. And some of them that aren't may be ready later in a month or 2 months. So you don't forget about those people either. And that's one of the points in this course too. When you put together your funnel, you don't just forget the people that don't buy. You set up some sort of nurturing email sequence or have them on a weekly newsletter or something like that, so that when they are ready, they'll come back. So that's important to do too. So that is everything, I think, for this. I don't want to waste people's time too much more on going through this. There is an suggested add-on with this course as well, which I'm not going to tell you.
Aww.
Don't ask. I knew you were going to ask.
You knew I was going to ask.
I already hinted at it before, so I'll say it's.
So I've got to buy it to get it. Okay.
You already know what it is. But yeah, you're definitely going to want to do that and do the challenge and then go through it yourself and set up your own funnel. Remember, you can start simple with a simple offer funnel, simple sales funnel with a couple different offers. Just focus on, say, one thing in there. Always have the lead magnet because you want to get people in with some value, and then have maybe a low ticket offer that you add in early on, or a one-time offer at some point in there. But look to do that, and then look at what you already have that you can build in. So things like the bundling, like if you have one course, your upsell can be a bundle of courses. Just like we do, the curriculum bundle. Yeah, or it can be a program, or it can be a group coaching. So there are lots of different ways to do it. Don't get too crazy. Because when I started out, the whole concept, people were trying to teach me how to do a funnel, and it just, my eyes glazed over at all the technology and moving parts and everything else. And I have to buy this software and that software, and I have to build in an evergreen thing and and I couldn't do it. So then I wasn't doing anything. So I stopped and I stepped back and I said, okay, I'm just going to do one thing, and then I'll do one add-on, and that's it.
How many modules in this, Sharon?
It's a good question. So that is probably, but there's lessons inside each one. So you can see the layout. There's introduction, is just the introduction. Then there's the first module, define the ideal customer for your funnel, has a couple lessons clarifying your offer and your customer. Module 2, different types of offers. So this one has 6, 7, 8 lessons in it, because you want to kind of break it down and not have everything in one massive module. So in a course platform, you would have it as, if they don't call it modules, it would be like section and then lesson. Section 2, lesson, lesson, lesson. So we call them modules because that's a more traditional training name for it.
So that's module 2, and that contains 8 lessons.
And then there's module 3 is actually mapping it. And this is where they do a simple one, which is just lead magnet to core offer, and then how you would make that automated with that bigger map I showed you with the different options. And then module 4 is doing a content plan. So that's the content you need to move people through that funnel, things like the emails and landing pages and the calls to action. And then plan B, remember I said, what if they don't purchase? You don't just say goodbye. It just means they didn't want to purchase at that moment. They weren't necessarily ready. So you want to have your plan B. And then module 5 is around attracting people into your funnel. So that's the different content you put out there, like blog posts and podcasts and webinars and guest blogging and stuff like that, getting people in. And then there's the last module is your next steps one, where you do some review and tips for moving forward and what the next steps are, next action steps. Because you always want them going away with an action plan. So they'll have done a lot of mapping and identifying offers and content and stuff, but then they need to plan their next steps after that. And you can add on other courses, of course.
I'm just thinking this will make a really nice 3-month program. And at the end of it, I think I would invite in a group of virtual assistants to talk about how they can help in the construction of sales funnels. So that if my audience was sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, I've just done all of this is so much work, that they can hear from the VAs what they can take a load off of them. And it's also an opportunity, if I was an affiliate, to affiliate for Fiverr and for Upwork and other places that can help people. It may be your next thing that you pitch to them, the one-time offer, is you build their funnel for them. And that can be something really powerful for you, particularly if you do that. Now, if you don't do that and you want to, it can be an opportunity for you to do a lower priced product and get a foothold in that market and get your testimonials and everything together through just delivering this program. So it's got really good use. Nobody else can buy it. It's mine. You know where I get.
No, but this is a great opportunity for you to also go through and build a funnel of your own. And as Sarah, you said, you can outsource the actual technical side of it so that you don't have to worry. But the key is you mapping it out exactly what you want to do. And then I know a lot of people outsource the actual setup. They get someone on Fiverr to do it, or someone else who's technical, who they know in our customer group even. There are people that specialize in that. So you can get help in a lot of places. So with that, I'm going to sign off and make sure that you head over to that URL, contentsparks.com/offer funnels. We will continue answering questions in here. So you can always drop questions in or send them to support@contentsparks.com if you have questions. Look out for the FAQs on the sales page because there's some specific ones there. And if you have any feedback on the sales page too, I would love to hear it because we've had different comments and input that has helped us put that together. But I'm always looking to refine it. So just one extra bit. And on our funnels, what would you like to see us add or take out of our funnel? But in the meantime, head over, grab that, and get to work. All right. Take care now. Bye.